Hey guys, so we're starting a new unit this week, but like I mentioned in our Zoom lesson last Tuesday, this unit isn't really in our textbook. There's one chapter at the end of the bivariate data analysis unit in the textbook. So what we're going to do for this unit is we're going to spend the first two lessons, this one and the next, going through that chapter, that exercise, that we have in the textbook. And then after that, we're going to spend the rest of the unit using some other resources, the Year 11 standard textbook, some stuff on Atomy, some stuff on Education Perfect, to just recap all of this statistics stuff. A lot of it was in Year 11, but about 40% of the HSC paper will cover Year 11 stuff, so it won't hurt us to go over it again. So what this chapter, the exercise, in our textbook does is it basically just goes over the process of statistical investigation and then talks about a few issues with statistical investigation. So what we're going to go through today is just the overview of the process of conducting a statistical investigation. There are 4 steps: collecting the data, organizing the data, summarize and display the data, and analyze the data. We're going to, over the coming weeks, we're going to look at each one of these steps individually as we recap some stuff. A lot of this will already be familiar to you, I hope, but yeah, once again, it doesn't hurt to revise. So, collecting the data, deciding what data is relevant, where you can get it, and then actually going out and doing it. And we talk about these two things here as different ways. That was not a good bracket. As different ways of collecting data, either census, collect data from everybody, or sample, collect data from a small group of people. We'll look more in depth at these in our third lesson this week. Then the next thing we have to do is organize the data, and what we're talking about here is graphs and plots. And when we come to this section of the unit, we're going to look at a few examples of these, things like dot plots, stem and leaf plots, frequency histograms. And then the next step is summarizing and displaying the data. The thing we're going to focus on is this summarizing the data. And that's using stuff like mean, median, mode, standard deviation. If you don't remember what these things are, we're going to go over them. And the last thing we have to do is look at analyzing the data. How can we describe it? How can we make meaning from what we've collected? And we did a lot of this kind of thing in our bivariate data analysis unit. We talked about the form of the association, the strength, the direction. These things are all involved in sort of analyzing data. So here's an example of a statistical investigation that has happened. This is the weight and blood glucose example that we used in our Excel lesson last week. So it just sort of outlines the steps that James took in his statistical investigation. He collected data by accessing medical records. He organized the data and summarized it and displayed it. And then he was able to analyze the data the same way we were by extrapolating his line and making predictions, that kind of thing. So there are a couple of questions for you to answer on this topic. You'll find them at this page in the textbook. So if you guys could just do that. And yeah, we'll talk about this in our lesson on Tuesday. Thanks, guys.